Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. Animated Disney sequels have gained a pretty bad reputation. They're often seen as cash cows designed to piggyback on the success of their predecessors. Over the summer, I watched every single animated Disney sequel. I wanted to find out my favourites, yes, there are a few good ones, and my least favourites. Of course, many other reviewers have done this before, most notably Nostalgia Check, but I wanted to find out my personal choices. Let's begin with the top 5 worst Disney sequels in my opinion. Number 5. The Jungle Book 2. This Jungle Book sequel has Mowgli escaping from the Man Village, then being forced to go back to the Man Village because Shere Khan is after him. What follows is a beat-for-beat rehash of the first film. Even when I was a kid, I was angry that this movie was basically doing the exact same idea as the first film. The movie shamelessly relies on nostalgic callbacks to get the audience to like it. Hey, remember this character and that song? You totally do! Now you have to like this movie because it reminds you of something you remember fondly! Don't think about what's going on, just eat it up and give us all your money! It's a bare-boned, unoriginal and uninspired movie that didn't need to be made and certainly didn't warrant a theatrical release. Number 4. The Hunchback of Notre Dom 2. In this sequel to The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the circus comes to Paris and the ringmaster commands his performers to steal from the crowd during each show. However, the ringmaster has bigger plans. He wants to steal a jeweled bell in the Tower of Notre Dame. So the ringmaster orders his assistant Madeleine to win the heart of Quasimodo the Hunchback, who rings the bells of Notre Dame. However, Madeleine slowly starts to fall for Quasimodo for real. This clip from Edward Scissorhands perfectly illustrates how I responded to this movie. The weight and majesty of Notre Dame is completely drained in this movie thanks to its awful, cheap and unambitious animation. What we get is a stale and underwhelming depiction of one of the grandest landmarks in Europe. To make things worse, we have to suffer through many tedious and tiresome musical numbers that have none of the build-up, creativity or emotion of the first films.
He's fa-la-la-la falling in love, fa-la-la-la-la, he's fa-la-la-la falling in love. Sing a rousing, rollicking roundelay for our rip-roaring rhapsody.
On top of that, the villain's running scheme is very stupid. This guy is a talented magician who amazes audiences with his circus, but instead of leaving a hat by the stage or selling tickets at the entrance, he steals from the audience, thinking that he's such a clever moneymaker. Hey, dumbass! You own a high-quality circus that draws in a large crowd. Add 2 and 2 together and start a fucking business! Then you wouldn't be so desperate for money that you find the need to steal a fancy bell and put yourself in danger with the law, you fart-brained cockwaffle! I'll admit that the romance between Quasi and Madeleine is kind of cute, but it's just not enough to make up for the horrible boring visuals, dumb villain, and torturous musical numbers. Number 3. Return to Neverland. In this sequel to Peter Pan, Wendy's daughter Jane refuses to have any fun because of the serious war around her. She ends up being whisked away to Neverland by Captain Hook and decides she must get back home somehow. While in Neverland, she learns to have fun. Fuck this movie! Seriously, what an atrocious and offensive waste of high-quality Disney animation. Most of the movie feels like a much less eventful rehash of the first film. The subplot involving dying Tinkerbell went straight over my head because I can't sympathize with a character who spends the whole movie being a spiteful, vindictive and violent little shit. Worst of all, though, is the movie's message. Children shouldn't be surviving through the war or taking the war so seriously. They should be out having fun. Oh, go fuck yourself sideways and jump off a cliff, movie! How the movie shames Jane for being resourceful and sensible, attributes required for a rational human at any age, is bad enough. But the lengths the film goes to tell Jane to quit being serious in a war environment sickens me. That's like telling someone in the Arctic to not wear a warm coat. There's actually a scene where Jane is trying to get home safely before a possible bomb strike, and the film has the audacity to make her dog go,
"Hey Jane, safety is boring, let's play hopscotch!"
I know what the film is trying to indicate, and it pisses me off. When my nana was a little girl, she grew up during the war. One day, a doodlebug bomb chased her down. She was rightfully terrified. So, movie, are you trying to say that my nana should have stopped running away from the doodlebug bomb and started playing skip rope? If she did, then I wouldn't be here today. I get what the film was trying to say. It's not right that innocent children have to suffer the consequences of war. They should be enjoying their young lives. But holy shit, is this intended message handled terribly! Instead of criticising war as a concept, or shaming the adults who started the war and put innocent kids in danger, it judges the children themselves. What the hell, Disney Toon? This movie is an insult to those who had to suffer through the war during childhood and a lazy, soulless cash grab. Number 2. Return of Jafar. In this sequel to Aladdin / pilot for the Aladdin TV show, Jafar the Sorcerer and his minion Iago escape the lamp they were caged in. While Iago is happy to join Aladdin's side after falling out with Jafar, Jafar wants to plot his revenge against Aladdin. Luckily for this wicked sorcerer, he can use Iago to lay a trap for Prince Aladdin. This movie didn't make me angry, it didn't frustrate me, and it didn't offend me. It did something worse. It gave me no emotions at all. This is a boring, empty, and shallow waste of time. It's the perfect example of a bad sequel. I mean, bringing back the bad guy to avenge his defeat is such a simple and overdone sequel idea. Besides fleshing Iago out as a good guy, the film has nothing to offer. It's a soulless and uninspired typical revenge story. Return of Jafar is the very definition of lazy. Number 1. Belle's Magical World. Belle's Magical World is a bunch of episodes from an unaired Beauty and the Beast TV show stitched together, and it's pathetic. The worst aspects of the Disney sequel catalogue are all displayed in this one movie. Cheap animation, small-scale storytelling, offensive ideas, and unambitious intentions. The inherent problem with doing a mid-quel to Beauty and the Beast is that you're stuck at the point where Beast acts like an abusive asshole and hasn't matured yet. So he spends the whole movie being a passive-aggressive psycho.
Very well. I will spare them. But if they ever step foot in this castle again, they will have to answer to me.
But they didn't mean...
Silence!
The episodes used in the film don't help matters either. It's the same story for every episode. Characters have a misunderstanding, someone does or says something terrible, and they all make up for it. It's hard to forgive Beast when it's like the 5th time he's acted like a massive bell end in the movie. This copy and paste storytelling cycle results in a very schizophrenic and repetitive film experience. The whole movie is draining, mind-melting, and painful. I'm surprised I wasn't put in a straitjacket after seeing it. I struggled to get through this one so much that halfway through watching it, I took a 3-day break. Yes, I'm serious, it's that difficult to sit through. There's nothing at all to gain from this movie. Every single thing fails on a disastrous level. It's the worst animated Disney sequel I've ever seen. So those were my choices for the top 5 worst Disney sequels. But like I said, there are a few good ones out there. I'm going to now talk about my top 5 favourite Disney sequels. Number 5. Now, many people are probably expecting The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride to be on this list. Well, you'll be disappointed because I don't think it's that great. I actually prefer the second Lion King sequel. Lion King 3 Hakuna Matata, also known as Lion King 1.5 in the States, is the first movie story, but from the perspective of the comic relief characters Timon and Pumbaa. I can see why people don't like this one. Its whole premise is to make fun of the first movie, and many folks see The Lion King as a sacred classic. However, I have a big sense of humour and love when franchises are willing to poke fun at themselves. The Lion King 3 has many laugh-out-loud moments.
Look out to the horizon. Past the trees. Over the grasslands. Everything the light touches. belongs to someone else.
Also, Timon's mother is hilariously relatable too, because she's a wonderful reflection of everyone's own mums. It helps that she's voiced by Julie Kavner, the voice of Marge Simpson.
Timmy? My Timmy?
Mom! Choking, not breathing. And people wonder why I have issues.
And the friendship between Timon and Pumbaa is so lovely. They make for a great duo thanks to their chemistry. I also respect the film for portraying same-gender parenting as normal, which it is. It never turns it into a joke or makes one the mum and one the dad. It just shows Timon and Pumbaa being regular dads. That's very progressive. I'll admit that because the movie wants to focus entirely on Timon and Pumbaa's perspective, the editing ends up being choppy and major plot lines are either downplayed or ignored. Plus, Timon and Pumbaa's interrupting commentary during the movie can get a little annoying. But it's still refreshing to see a Disney sequel trying something creatively different besides their usual formulas. I think The Lion King 3 is a genuinely funny movie that deserves way more praise for its comedy. Number 4. The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning. This is a prequel to The Little Mermaid. After King Triton's wife is killed, he begins to despise music because it reminds him too much of his wife's passion for singing. His grief motivates him to ban music from the kingdom. This frustrates Ariel, who grows bored of a strict royal lifestyle and wants to party to music instead. Apparently, this movie doesn't exactly fit in with Little Mermaid canon, especially with the TV show, but I don't mind this at all. Why? Well, because I think it's a brilliant standalone movie that's fantastically executed. The music is colourful and fun, we get to see Ariel bond with her sisters, thus creating a strong theme of sisterhood throughout the film. The villainess is a hammy and hilarious baddie who's like a combination of Yzma and Ursula.
As you can see, I'm a self-starter, Your Majesty. Here to anticipate your every need. Not like that last guy. What was his name? Sooner we forget about him, the better. In fact, let's make a vow never to mention his name again. Here, I'll start.
And the movie does manage to pull some very sentimental and sincere dramatic moments that really struck a chord with me. I think that Little Mermaid 3 is a highly polished, entertaining and engaging film. It made me really happy. I definitely prefer it over The Little Mermaid 2, which is basically a carbon copy of the first film. Number 3. Kronks New Groove. In this sequel to Emperor's New Groove, Yzma's minion Kronk is now working as a chef, but he's terrified because his strict father is coming to visit. All Kronk has ever wanted is a thumbs up from his pappy, but he's never succeeded to impress him. Kronk then goes on to tell stories about how he almost achieved goals set by his dad. I'll be the first to admit that this movie isn't perfect. It's rough around the edges, and its framing device for the stories is very small scale for a feature film. However, there's one wonderful aspect of the film that completely saves it for me: the character of Kronk himself. He's dopey and naive, but he has a big heart and an admirable passion for cooking. Kronk is endearing enough to carry this movie for me because he's so damn lovable. I ended up caring about him so much. I felt sympathetic when he was sad, I was delighted when he was happy, I loved seeing him finally get his own love interest, and I really wanted him to impress his dad somehow. Sometimes a film just needs a strong character to draw me into its narrative. Kronks New Groove is certainly one of those films. Number 2. Aladdin and the King of Thieves. In this second sequel to Aladdin, Aladdin and Jasmine's wedding is interrupted by the King of Thieves. Much to Aladdin's surprise, the king turns out to be his own father. Aladdin ends up being caught between his family and new life with Jasmine as the King of Thieves tries to pursue a legendary treasure. This is a big step up from Return of Jafar. Despite its cheap animation, it manages to pull off some striking visuals and a cinematic presentation. The musical numbers are fun and competently made, but some songs do feel like they come out of nowhere. The villain is super intimidating too. I mean, he kills a damn shark! The father-son drama is sincere and solid, Robin Williams' improv for the genie is stellar as usual, although his movie references are a bit overdone, plus the whole experience feels like a real movie, not a long TV episode. It's action-packed, hugely enjoyable, and highly satisfying. Number 1. Cinderella 3: A Twist in Time. In this movie, the evil stepmother and stepsisters steal the fairy godmother's wand, go back in time, and ruin Cinderella's life by changing the glass slipper's size to fit Anastasia's feet. Once Cinders works out what has happened, she must expose her stepfamily and win back the prince's heart. I believe that this movie was fantastically handled, to the point where it could be matched on the same level as a major Disney animated feature. It embraces its old-fashioned innocence with affection, but isn't afraid to poke fun at itself too. The comedy is restrained and laugh-out-loud funny, the visuals are staggering. I mean, some wide-angle shots absolutely stunned me. Plus, the narrative is oozing with tension and well-paced storytelling. It's gripping and engaging watching Cinders and her stepmother try to be one step ahead of each other, using their wits and instinct to outdo each other. Cinders gets to be both badass and smart thinking, the prince is lovably dorky, the mice are actually funny this time, the king is a riot, and the stepmother is even more terrifying with magic at her helm. But it's Cinderella's stepsister Anastasia who steals the film as a remarkably complex character. It's incredibly compelling watching her dance between her shallow desires and untapped conscience. Cinderella 3 knows what it is and has fun with itself, but it also exceeds Disney sequel standards. It's all directed with a sense of filmic atmosphere and really takes its time to illustrate visual cues. I totally enjoyed it and found myself thoroughly engaged all the way through. If more Disney sequels were this good, then maybe they wouldn't have gained such a dreadful reputation. Which are the top 5 worst and best Disney sequels you've seen? Let me know in the comments section below. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed this countdown. Feel free to support me on Patreon. Cheerio, folks.